Thought I'd record this one. I was thinking about conversations people have with each other and themselves. And I thought about education, and I'm always thinking about how everything connects, right? It's kind of an obsession of mine, right? And you know, I'm not saying that like we have to debate the ontological philosophy of, say, Martin Heidegger, and maybe the effects that his philosophy um, I mean his philosophies did influence many, including Clifford Geertz, who's kind of a he's kind of a rock star in my book when it comes to culture. And I'm just saying that we don't have to necessarily debate these deep philosophical whatevers to have quote unquote deep conversations with each other. I'm just simply saying that the thoughts I've been having lately is that learning about things, trying to understand things, staying curious, it's not, it just enriches our discussions with each other. And what are discussions with each other besides the, I don't know, texture of these webs of meaning that Clifford Geertz calls culture? Um, you can make culture. I mean, two people or more talking about anything that they value. That's culture. And of course, so I I don't know. I guess even though I was a student like my students now, who I was bratty. I mean, my students now have a lot better reasons for not liking school. I was just a brat. But I don't know. To me, it's interesting how whatever people might think of education and how we there's so many debates when it comes to education. But I just think that in a world in which education is being increasingly politicized, we have to look at maybe separate education from learning and staying curious. Um, my friend Ryan Katz did amazing phenomenological study on curiosity, and I just think that as a culture we need to separate, maybe because education is getting so politicized on both sides, and for good reason, because both sides of the political spectrum are not completely snowy white when it comes to this debate. They both have their issues when it comes to the debate. Not to get into specifics, I'm just saying that maybe as a culture, we need to focus more on curiosity and simply learning. Take the scholastic, the academic, even the intellectual out of the equation, at least those names, because the fact is that understanding things, both their parts, the whole hermeneutic circle there is it's important because it's not just what we know, it's what we can do with what we know. And knowing that, when it gets right down to it, this texture of culture that I've been talking about is a way of can get right down to the human aspects of simply being with each other, and that being together, whatever we end up talking about. Um, not to get on some kind of high horse, like it has to be highbrow, lowbrow. I'm not splitting hairs there. I'm simply saying that if we if we continue to promote learning and the value of being curious, then when we're together, we can help each other more. There can be insights. It's just overall a good thing. And yeah, so that is my assertion that we should do that more as a culture. And thank you. Yeah. Um, I probably will do more of these videos, perhaps, but I'll also do write my articles too. I'm just getting behind. Other stuff is getting in the way. But thank you, and consider joining. Consider signing up. Thanks.